Okay, so that's it. That's essentially all the basics of financial analysis. You're at the stage now where you have to actually do financial analysis. So what's involved in that? Well, it's one thing to calculate a bunch of numbers, a bunch of financial statistics. It's the same as math class, right? You can do all the calculations you want. So what? I start every grade 12 math class that I've ever taught with, hey, what's 10 divided by a quarter? Everybody can do it, and then nobody can tell me what the answer even means or why the approach works. When you do an analysis, it's not the math that matters, it's not the stats. You don't go and put a bunch of numbers on a page, go, hey, look, here they are. Nah. You have to report or present or in whatever form you were asked to communicate, you have to deliver some kind of argument, some kind of statement. I believe this company is fantastic. Here's why. And then you have to go through the things you've learned. Not every little thing you found, but only the most important. Okay? So you have to take, if you look at your ratio sheet, you have to take these common size analysis ratios, right? You've got to do them. You've got to calculate them all quick because you don't know what you're going to find until you do them all. But I showed you how to do it on a spreadsheet, so it shouldn't take that long. Then you have to do all of your ratios, right? Your solvency, your safety ratios, and then your sort of performance, how well you're doing, your efficiency ratios, and your borrowing capacity ratios. You got to do them all. Then you got to look for the trends and the red flags and the things that stand out, the things that say something important, good or bad, about the company, right? And you can use this page right here as a guide, but once you've got all your numbers, you're really only half done. You got to think about what they mean. And sometimes you might even have to go beyond the financial statements, right? You have to look into the industry to see if it's growing or shrinking. You won't find that in the financial statements. You might find it in an annual report that a company produces, but not necessarily in the financial statements. You might find hints of it if you see revenue falling year after year. The industry might be shrinking. It might just be that this company stinks, right? Its share of the market might be shrinking, or the whole market for that product or service might be shrinking. You don't know. You might have to do some research outside of the numbers. But essentially, if you look at the note of financial analysis, what you're going to find is this. And what this is what you need to do. I don't know about any other class, if somebody's going to use this video in their class on the other side of the planet, but in my class, this is what you do, right? You need to give me first and foremost, before I see, read, or am bombarded by anything else, I need to see your final decision first. So it's what you form last, but it's the thing you show first. This is what I think. Then, and that's however you do that, as you can see, you will have a sense of purpose. So if I told you, I asked you to decide whether you would invest in this company, or if I asked you to decide which company is better, or if I asked you to decide which company is more solvent, it all has to be in context. So you're making a decision based on what I asked you to do. Right? Then you have to justify it, of course, just as in every other aspect of life. When you make a decision or an argument, whether it's English class, real life, in a job situation, whatever, in a relationship, when you make a decision, you should have a good reason. And your reasons had better fall into three categories: liquidity, solvency, reasons, and not one or the other unless I only ask you for one or the other, right? You have to say something about the solvency and liquidity situation of this business that is currently in. Then you have to say something about any risk currently due to debt levels and whether it's able to borrow more and expand or not. And then, of course, you've got to say something about how well the company appears to have been run using the profitability and efficiency ratios. Right? And if you find trends and stuff in the common size analysis, you should throw those in. So that really is four sort of areas. There's no way you're going to have less than one reason out of each of them. But you don't pick everything you find, only the most significant. See right there, most significant. And then, with all of that information, the hardest part for students at your level, to take it all, take all these different things, and make one thing out of it. Synthesize it into one meaningful argument. That's your task. Make sure you write it that way, clearly identifying the sections, what you're talking about, and actually use the numbers in your written work. Otherwise, you're not compelling or convincing anyone, right? This is the most important part. This is why you did all the calculations. So that's how you need to write up any report or present any oral assignment. Got it?